So before we wrap up our study of the 5 fragments, there's one more thing we're going to look at, and that's continuation of our study of fragment chains, but it's one specific combination, and you'll see why we're looking at it. We're looking at it specifically because it looks a little bit different than what we're used to. So let's look at some examples. First in English, my black cats. What's happening here?
My cats is possessive.
Right, my cats is possessive, and then
black is describing cats.
Yeah, black is describing just the cats.
My cats.
Right, where it's describing my cats. Right, so here we have my black cats, we have a possessive, and then we have a description for the entire possessive fragment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're not just describing a single word, right? We're describing an entire possessive fragment. What about Bob's bushy beard?
Bob's bushy beard. Bob's beard is a description. Is possessive.
Right. So Bob has a beard.
And bushy is describing Bob's beard.
Right. Bushy is describing Bob's beard. So here we have the same thing. Right. Can you tell me what's happening? Re-explain it to me.
So bushy is describing the entire possessive fragment because it's describing Bob's beard in particular.
Exactly. So what do we need to know about describing a possessive fragment? So the possessive fragment, my cats, and Bob's beard, are those general or specific?
Specific, because my cats are a particular cats.
Yeah, we're talking about my cats specifically, not just random cats. And what about Bob's beard?
It's particular talking about this guy named Bob and his beard.
Yeah, we're not talking about any old beard, as weird as that sounds. We're talking specifically about Bob's beard, right? Bob's beard. And then remind me what we said about descriptives.
They either are both general or are both specific.
Right, they're both general or they're both specific. So we said that my cats, right, the thing being described is specific, right? Bob's beard, the thing being described is specific. So what does that tell us about the description?
If it was in Arabic, the description would also have to be specific?
It would also have to be specific, right? Because our described is specific, so our description has to be specific. Okay. And then how do we make something specific in Arabic?
By
with a good old
al.
Al, right, a good old al. So let's look at an example here. Rasulallahi, what are we looking at?
Rasul is general, the word Allah is specific, that's possessive.
Right, so we're looking at a possessive fragment. And then if we wanted to describe it, right, Rasulullah, talking about someone general or someone specific?
Specific, the Prophet of Allah.
Yeah, the Prophet of Allah. So we're talking about someone specific, so then the description is also going to have to be? Specific. So if we want to describe the Messenger of Allah as knowledgeable, right? What's the word for knowledgeable?
Alim.
There for you, alim, right? But we're going to stick a al on there to make it specific, right? So our described, the Prophet of Allah, right? This is the described or the noun, is specific, right? So that means the description also has to be specific.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So the reason we're doing this one in particular is because we're used to seeing, like, when we look for specific and specific, we look for al and al.
Yeah.
But in this case, there's no al because you're describing the entire fragment.
Exactly. And that's exactly why usually people miss it, right? If we were to see something like al-Rasul, al-Alim.
Yeah, that's clearly descriptive.
Yeah, because we have a al and we have a al, right? But Rasulullah, right, you have to think about the meaning to realize that it's specific, right? There's not the easy giveaway of a al.
Okay.
Right, but if you think of it logically, you'll get to the answer. So both our described and our description are specific.
Mm-hmm.
Is that clear?
I think so.
Okay, let's look at another example. ربك الكريم or ربك الكريم.
Rabbi. So Rabbi ka are two words because ka is the attached pronoun. And so Rabbi is general.
Yep.
The pronoun is specific.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess al-Karim is a description for the entire fragment.
Yeah, so Rabbi ka, general specific, right? We said that makes possessive. And then when we describe a possessive, our description is always going to be
Specific.
Specific, right? So this is a description. So how would we translate Rabbika?
Your Lord?
Yeah, your Lord, right? Your Lord. And then we'll add the description Al-Karim, and then we get?
Your Lord the Generous?
Yeah, you could say your Lord the Generous or your...
Generous Lord.
Generous Lord,
Okay.
more natural, right? Your generous Lord. Okay, one more. Baytuha Al-Kabir.
So we have 3 words, Baytuha and Al-Kabir.
Mm-hmm.
Ha is an attached pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
So Baytu is general. Ha is specific, making
Right.
that possessive.
Right, and when we describe a possessive,
The description has to be specific.
right,
So it has to have al.
So
And
Al-Kabir is?
Al-Kabir is a description of Baytuha.
good, of Baytuha. And then translation?
Her house, her big house.
Good. Her big house. And you're not going to say her house big,
No,
right?
because in Arabic the description comes after, but in English it comes before.
Exactly. And then I don't think we translated the first one. Let's go back and do that. Rasulallahi al-Alim.
So Rasulullahi is the prophet of Allah,
Mm-hmm.
and Alim is the knowledgeable prophet of Allah.
Right. The knowledgeable, excuse the mess, prophet of Allah. Okay, so are we all clear on this?
Yes.
So when we describe a possessive, the description is always going to be specific. And why is that?
Because we're describing the entire fragment, and the entire possessive fragment is talking about something specific.
Right, so Rasulullah talking about someone specific, right? Baytuha talking about someone specific. Rabbika talking about something specific.
Okay.